in terms of
that's what I was
high level, no details otherwise.
We understand that, right? That's what we have discussed. We don't want detailed, because unless there is a branding approval, we cannot do some live streaming from our side. This is Incubate Hub doing something and asking questions, and we'll answer those.
Yeah.
I would suggest both Shivali, Terence, if we can just blur our backgrounds.
So we have audience joining in, and we will wait a few more minutes, 1 or 2 more minutes.
So
until
we have audience joining in.
People join.
Hello. Hi, Terence. Hi, Chintan.
Hello.
Hi, Kavish.
Hi. I think I'm audible clearly.
You are.
So as we have people joining in, so we can get started.
Sure.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello. Yeah. Am I audible?
Yeah. You're audible.
You are.
Okay. Hello and good afternoon, everyone. I am Prithvi Vapodara. I'm the Associate Program Manager at Incubate Hub. First of all, I want to thank you all for taking the time out and be present in this session. So welcome to the webinar session of Automating Reconciliation. The agenda of this session is that if all the startups which are present here have any questions regarding the problem statement, then they can ask the panel of two veterans from Marsh McLennan. So one of the speakers is Shivali Chakravarthi, who is the head of Department of Operations. And we also have Terence Fernandes, who is the head of Client and Customer Service. Also, kindly note that this session is being recorded and your competitors are present as well. Therefore, request you not to disclose any confidential information. So, without taking much time, I'd like to hand over to Marsh McLennan team, Ms. Shivali and Mr. Terence. Please take it ahead.
Hi everyone. So just to give a brief background about us, Terence and I, we both are part of the Marsh operations team of Marsh McLennan. In the Marsh operations team, we do service end-to-end broking operation processes. We have claims, fiduciary, we have policy servicing and placement processes. Here, through this forum, what we are really looking at is for a solution in one of our fiduciary processes, which is the end accounting process in the broking chain. Terence leads that team, and I'm going to hand over to him so that he can quickly walk you through what automation is expected here. It's a reconciliation process, and Terence will be able to brief this entire group on the same. Over to you, Terence.
Apologies, something just fell off. Okay, good afternoon all. The reconciliation process that we have. So we do reconciliation with our clients and counterparties that we do business with. Each of these counterparties have balances that is due to us, and we have balances due to them, or vice versa. We need to reconcile, typical reconciliation, to make sure that our books matches. Okay, and that's just, in a very high level, that's the reconciliation that we're looking at. Fortunately, unfortunately, things don't match up very easily because of where some booking is done in each of the books. Okay, and most of the amount that we are looking at has a set of amount which is a premium, and then you have taxes involved. So we are dealing with international locations. So obviously you have local taxes involved. You have commissions and discounts that you give to the counterparties, which might be billed and booked slightly differently. So for client A, I might book as 100 less client discount of 15, and I might show it as 85 as outstanding, and the other party might show 115 separate as two different transactions. You're trying to do a reconciliation that matches up both, and you're also looking at a tool. Okay, that's what the expectation or the output is. You're looking at a tool that could give you a bit of insight that says where the difference is. So if the taxes are not matching, it might just give you a brief insight about taxes, or it could just give you there is a match with a potential tolerance. Okay, and then I leave the art of possibility with you all as experts, but in a simple, very high level language is what we are looking at. A detailed update of the study has been given into the case study that we presented, but for the forum, I would like to leave it at that point and then open the forum for you guys to ask questions.
Thank you, Terence.
Hi, Terence. Got a question for you. This is Kishore from Z-Score. How often is this reconciliation done, and how many different data sets are we dealing with?
Reconciliation is done minimum once a month. It could happen more than a month. Okay, and how many data sets? We are a global organization. We deal with a lot of clients and markets. So the volume is infinite. Okay, but yeah, I mean, clients, we could, I mean, the volume of business that we do with each client also is quite humongous. So obviously we are looking at a decent amount of data that is going to go through.
Okay. Thank you. So how do you get this data from, your clients? Do you, I mean, is it run nightly as a batch, or how does this data come to you?
In most cases via emails. So obviously we get this data from our trading partners on emails. Okay, it could be at the beginning of the month, which typically is after the month close that they would do. Okay, or it could be just at the end of the month once they have done the entire closure of the books, they would send the statement out. But yeah, it is typically at the beginning of the month or as and when we request for one.
Okay.
Girish, we are not able to hear you. I can see you're speaking something.
Okay, sorry. How much of this data is structured and unstructured? Like, see, I think by emails you get email and the documents attached to that email. The challenge is dealing with the emails, download those documents, maybe segregate those documents, and then look into the information contained in those documents to really turn that data into a kind of a structured data so that the comparisons and reconciliations can be done on top of it. So that's how I assume the process that is. And emails can come from maybe multiple different parties, and there are and manually you have a process to do all that, and which is of course complicated. But what are the kinds of documents, in the sense that is it possible to say that, okay, these are the 25 different types of documents that we deal with for this reconciliation purpose?
So I'll take one question at a time. So you said, is it structured, unstructured? It is mostly structured. Let's put it that way. 80% of our data comes in email in Excel. Okay, so it's relatively structured in that sense. You do have 15 to 20 odd percent which would come in PDF files. None of the data is pasted on emails. So that is one comfort that I can give. It's in PDF files. Can we convert those? We are trying to address. I mean, if we keep the 15% out of it, I think 85% of it is good structured data. Are they readily usable? The answer is yes, they are readily usable as long as we can read those formats. Now, each of those, it's just like going to a bank. You go to a bank and each bank has their own format of a statement. Okay, and same goes with all of our trading partners. They have a own format and that they would follow. The trick is to come back and able to read that format and understand how do you make sense of what it is. So in that ways, I think that details are available, which can, if selected and if you're intending to go ahead, that's what we could definitely provide. Yeah.
And what's the nature of the complexity involved? Is it the challenge with the reconciliation is because you do not find the right data which can substantiate the reconciliation, or there are missing things, or they are not matching, or this data because there is some error that has happened at the level of creation of this data. That's why you are having issue. Like, why it is a challenge? Because as long as it's unstructured data, majority of it, and just a matter of template change from partner to partner, there is, I don't see, I mean, a lot of issue with that. What is the nature of that challenge that you are facing?
So as I mentioned in the case study, it is one to many reconciliation that we're looking at, and you could have an ABC client. Okay, now you could name an ABC client as A.B.C, or you could name a client as ABC, or you could name a client as A space B space C. Now, if you have this bit of it, you require a bit of a intuitive skills or an AI out there that could come back and understand that this is the same. A human could, but would, I mean, that's what we're looking at, and it is one to many. So you're not trying to match a one transaction to a one transaction. If it was as simple as that, that would have been easier. Fairly simple for a simple macro even to do that bit of it. But you're trying to look at one to many, and you're trying to find out which component in the entire set of it is where it's slightly off, if there is one. So is the taxes slightly off? Is it going to be the commissions that we deal with, or is it the entire premium that is agreed? And that's the challenge that we are looking at. And one to many, obviously you might, in a set of data of 1,000 plus, okay, to identify one or 10 related transactions to one transaction you might have, or 10 transactions that you have that relates to one out there, requires a bit of time intensive effort, which is where a bit of insight or a good tool is what should help ease the entire turnaround time and the quality also.
Got it. Thank you, Terence. And one last question that I have is your partners. So there are a finite number of partners, and there is a partner onboarding or that has happened one time. So you have a master list of all the partners that you have, and that's how it is, right? Or is it very dynamically that you go on getting new partners added and you start getting emails or these transactional documents from them? How that on the other side happens?
Mostly finite, if I have to put it, but it can also be dynamic. I mean, any organization, you're dealing with new companies and new startups coming up every day, so it's going to be slightly dynamic. Okay, but it's going to be slightly, that's how I would put it, because you'll have only new clients coming in, but mostly the existing base is the existing base.
And in terms of turnaround time, I just want to, I mean, one last question for me. I don't think I have any more questions. What's the volume and what's the turnaround time manually?
Turnaround time could range from a couple of hours for a simple reconciliation, which would have what 50, 60 transactions or maybe 100 to it could take more than a day, where the transaction could raise could surround around 2,500 transactions on one particular trading partner. So it varies. But yeah, I mean, what we're looking at, if there is a potential solution that could actually come back and do most of it on a intuitive basis, and also have a bit of an inbuilt capability that in future you feed an information it retains, so that, I mean, I'm not sure what is it, but the art of possible, I would leave it to you guys. But yeah, it takes from couple of hours to even a day, more than a day.
So a couple of questions. One is, you mentioned names being A space B space C or A.B.C, right? So how much of this data is clean, or is there a data cleansing aspect that is also required?
So there is a technical question. Let me answer the Terence here. So we the data which comes in is from a finite partner, okay? But yes, the data might require some cleaning. So that's what Terence was mentioning, that it's for a human, it's easy for, trying to match what goes where. But if you apply logics, yes, a cleansing would be required, and that's where the art of technology would come in. How would you codify a particular data so that you don't have to match the characters or the letters, So that's what one of the expectation is part of this requirement. Yeah.
Can I ask a follow-up question on this?
Yeah, please go ahead.
So basically, you're looking for a mapper service powered by natural language understanding, right? Where you'll be looking at the data set, you'll be understanding sometimes your data might come in different lines, the data might come under different headers, and you're looking to map the headers, you're looking to map the data sets, you're trying to understand the relevance of the different data and then map it.
So this is all technology language, Shaik. I would probably say that the requirement is the information which we get, we have to match to the outstandings which we have.
Correct.
If that can be done, is what we are looking for, final
I understood that, but basically my question was, how much of this is actuarial, how much of this is financial, and how much of this is intelligence? Because from what I've heard so far, this sounds like an intelligent mapper powered by mapping backend towards the workflows on the financial management.
Yeah, so purely, I think that there is this can be answered, how much of this is actuarial and how much of this is financial. I think most of this, and I will let Terence answer this, please go ahead.
So most of this is financial. It's nothing of this is actuarial. So it's all financial.
Yeah.
And a bit of intelligence in it. Yeah.
But would the selection criteria be dependent on actuarial experience or financial experience? That is basically my question. Sorry for pushing it.
Financial experience.
Yeah. Financial. Awesome. Okay.
Terence, a question. Can you tell us about what is your base system, what IMSs are using, and can that be integrated or connected to, say, another third-party system easily?
Can it directly be integrated? I would leave it to our technology team to come back and evaluate that bit of it. So I don't want to comment on that part of it. But yeah, we could always build an interface that could make sure that the data from is easily sourced and inputted into a third-party system.
But are you building this for single IMS, or are you building this for across the board?
Across the board.
Across the board.
So you'll need an API layer on top that'll be able to integrate with different systems.
We will require an API layer on top.
Yeah.
Got you. Okay.
So you will need a mapper service. You'll need a standalone technology that interfaces with you. You get the data, we churn it out, or someone churns it out, sends it back to you in real time.
If you're going to build this, yes, we need all of these. We are looking at something which is already available. So I don't know if that has been clarified.
No, it's always available. It's just configuration.
Yeah, we're just clarifying what you need.
Yeah. And then that we can discuss when it comes to the technology demands.
Got it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Terence. Thanks, Chitra.
So Chintan, Terence, like, is there a plan to see the demo of all the applications? Because whatever you are saying, these are pretty common things. It's, to me, it's not a new thing actually. In the whole market, everyone is having almost similar issues. At least I can say here in India also, NBFCs and banks are having exactly 90% of the things are same. There might be some calculations you are saying, calculations of charges and discounts. Those are different, but apart from that, everything, as far as I can understand, is pretty common things actually. Nothing big deal.
I'll tell you, Shankar, I'll be very happy if there is something which is common and things are available, as per our knowledge, even from technology perspective or the business requirements perspective, nothing of this sort is easily available, is what our understanding was. But if there's something readily available, we'll be the most happy people to look at it.
Yes.
So you can connect with Incubate Hub and explain them what exactly is available, and then let them manage the next steps, and we'll wait for them to come back.
Chintan,
Okay.
just a quick query on what you said. Do
Yeah.
you anticipate? I mean, I think what Umashankar was speaking about was the fact that the financial workflow management exists for ages. I think where you are talking about is more about the intelligence on top of it. Am I understanding this right?
We are expecting purely, if you look at the business case and the problem statements which we have given, it's proper reconciliation piece we are talking about. So if we are able to do these transactions manually right now, right? Which
Right.
is purely the reconciliations piece which we are talking about. Okay. Now, when it comes to technology, understanding the data, or probably the machine language which you might be using, after 1,000 cases, it becomes more accurate. Whatever is you're talking about, the final goal is not to understand the data, but to reconcile the data and give us the output.
Yes.
Okay.
Got it.
If there is something available like that, yes, please demo it, and we'll be happy to see that.
Quick question. You mentioned multiple countries, right? So your taxes and commission rates and all that stuff is going to be different based on the country, right? So the data will be reconciled as per that country's norms, correct?
Yeah.
So what we are looking at, we don't expect people to know the taxes, but we are looking at is a broad category. So taxes is a category, is a heading where you have 5,000. Okay, it could be a GST, it could be some other tax out there. At the end of the day, is there different taxes between both the books reconciling or not? I mean, in a nutshell, that's exactly what we're looking at.
Okay.
So just to ask one more question, aligned with the same. When we say both the books, so one is one book is email that we are referring to, that we are getting a document. May I know the second source that we are referring to here? Is it a ERP data or a third-party source, or is it literally some book or documents that we are maintaining?
It's our ERP data. It's our own book of account that we are trying to reconcile with the vendor book of account or our trading partner book of account.
So what we are getting in emails is the statements from our partners or vendors, okay? And those statements will have to be reconciled with our book of accounts for those partners and vendors for the business transactions which have been done. Does it make sense?
Yes, yes. So if there is no issue, can you mention the name of the ERP system that you are using? If it's not an issue.
Yeah, Terence, I think we can share that. That should not be a problem.
So we have multiple ERP tools, Chintan. So depending on locations.
Yeah.
And which is why we said the API might be an important this thing.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it might slightly be misleading to quote one and miss out others.
So there are systems which will take care of all of these. Subin was the name, right?
Yeah. Yes.
So there are ERP applications which are used, and we would have some which are big names like Oracle, but some which are homegrown as well, but there are applications which would take care of the data in the form of the enterprise data planning and all of these things. But the fact remains same, that we would have those data residing in our systems in the book of accounts, and we would need to reconcile with that data.
So if we are able to crack it with one of the systems in the region, we should be able to apply it across systems. That's the knowledge, because the
Easy
fundamental
replicable,
of
yeah.
what needs to be reconciled, that remains the same.
Yeah.
What will only change is probably the system, as we go from one region to another.
And if it makes easy for you to understand the technology terms, the data in our books of accounts is structured.
But where the difficulty will be to map it to the different data formats in the different ERP systems. And that is where you'll need a mapper service and something like an iPaaS.
Not a huge task, because we would have usually similar kind of structured data across the organization, because we have to internally reconcile as well.
So just a quick question on this. Are you expecting this data to be manually mapped on the header files, or are you expecting that this should automatically understand and map to the different ERP systems that you introduce?
If we are investing in the systems, we would not need manual intervention, is what our expectation would be.
Got you. Okay.
Hey, Saurabh.
Hey, Chintan, sorry I'm late. Clash. Are there any other questions?
Yeah, hey, this is Vinay from Copseat. I just have one question out here. So what is the possibility to give an adaptation to other channel partners to take new exercise rather than sending them over the emails, the data?
Can you repeat that, Vinay?
I was saying that, is there any possibility that we can let our channel partners adopt a new technique or maybe new exercise to upload the data rather than sharing over the emails?
That's a kind of question which will have to be understood, right? When are you saying there's a change of process?
Right.
So right now they send us the data in the statements in each client. So we are probably dealing with more than.
Vinay, to answer it, it's going to be really, really very difficult.
Correct.
Because that is something that is out of our control, right?
Correct.
It is like telling the partners or the clients or the carriers that use this is a structured thing, and that is next to impossible. So
I got it.
They send it in their own ways.
And there could be different partners across the globe, from a smallest country to the largest country, and different kind of people we are dealing with, So
Right.
yeah.
Got it. Thank you.
One last question. Can we have some sample documents just to understand the structured part that you were mentioning, which can be shared with the participants? Just some sample documents.
We can do that, but we will have to first internally understand what exactly you're expecting. So if you can drop a note to what is that you are expecting to Incubate Hub, we'll connect and we'll share the data if that is feasible. So
Sure, we will do that. Thank you.
So probably this was again one of the questions which I wanted to raise up. Is there any possibility we can understand that, let's suppose these are the 20 or 50 different data sets we receive, and these are, kind of set of data, maybe 100 in one set and 500 in another set, or 1 lakh in another set, but maybe 20 different sets of data which we receive generally.
It will not matter, Vinay. I'll tell you very honestly, whether it is 5 or 15 or 25 data sets which we are trying to match. If you have an application which is close enough, which will match that, okay, if let's say you have an application which has 10 data sets and I need 15, I'm sure you'll be able to configure that application to have 15 different data sets, correct?
Yeah.
So show us if you have a similar kind of concept which has been built and can be demoed, and we will let you know exactly how many, because there and I would tell you, ours is a complex requirement, but not a complexity in the structure of the data sets. So don't worry about it. Yeah.
Right. Thank you.
We are not able to hear you. If you're speaking, the name is iAssist, right? Yeah.
Thank you. My name is Yash, and good telling. Otherwise, I was in a sign language. Otherwise, if there is I joined a bit late, but if there is a document, which can illustrate exactly what are the things, because I'm aware of the problem statement about the matching or reconciliation with the insurance companies. It stands for a couple of facts, but since you are doing this thing not only for India but for the wider regions, then the problem statement could be different, across various countries. Because in India, insurance companies collect premium, outside brokers collect premium. So if you have a sort of a document which can illustrate this, and also on the claim side, if you're looking for it, would be helpful.
So the illustration is on the document which has been shared. It is clearly given. So you need to connect with Prithvi or someone from Incubate Hub to get that document which we have shared. It is clearly mentioned with a case study of what exactly kind of transactions we do and what are the problems we face.
Okay, fine.
If I can only add, Yash, to what you said, yes, as Chintan mentioned, the document does have it in the terminology that you used, where in India we would the client would pay to the insurance company directly. So there would still be a reconciliation done between the broker and the insurance company to make sure that everything is reconciled and commissions are still tallying. So that is reconciliation still. For cases abroad or other locations where you would have clients paying a broker and a broker passing on the premium, but there would still be reconciliation done with the client, with the insurance company. So there might be two now, or there might be three if they're dealing with an intergroup company of this. So there's an intergroup company who's generating business and passing on. So you still would have to do reconciliation. So yeah, the scope remains all of them that you just mentioned.
And I think someone asked the question at the beginning, and this is a perfect answer, Terence, this is that how the things can break into multiple pieces, one to many, which Terence was talking about when it comes to reconciliation. Okay, so this answer would match to the question you had asked before. Sorry, yes, you can continue if you have any more questions.
No, I myself have handled this problem for many to many. So a broker will put one policy, and insurance companies after 2 months' time they'll issue 7 policies for that, and then the Nitesh would be worrying how to match the numbers. So yes, we understand this problem. We'll look at the document. I haven't got a chance with Prithvi, if you can share it with us.
Any other questions from anyone?
While we'll go through the document, what is the next stage? What is expected from the participants here? From this question to Marsh team.
So I think that also Incubate Hub should be able to tell you, but from our side, the expectation is simple, and I'm sure there would be something more on the Incubate side, so you'll have to talk to them. Our expectation is if you have any application which is close enough to match our requirements, we will be happy to look at the demo of those applications.
And this demo would be one-on-one, right? Of course.
That's something which you will have to understand with the partner we have.
Yeah, one-on-one means with us, with Incubate Hub and Marsh.
I believe, yes.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I can take that. Nachapa here from Incubate Hub.
Hey, Nachapa.
Yeah, hi. So what we ideally expect is a first draft of your solution based on the problem statement that's given. If there is some costing involved, it will be great if you can showcase that. And any past work in the similar domain, that will also give you some brownie points. And yes, you're right. The next set of conversation will be one-on-one, where we sort of have a deep dive on your thought process and on how you want to build this solution.
Sure.
Yeah.
Thank you. So Nachappa, is there anything else?
Prithvi, Nachappa, are we expecting more questions or?
Yeah, everyone, if we have questions, we can post it on the chat, or you can unmute yourself, or we can close it. The video will be available on demand. We'll be sharing the link via emails, and please do go through it. And any questions related to how your proposed solution should be, or anything regarding the engagement, you can always reach out to me.
Nachappa, can we have your phone number or email it? Maybe you can put it on the chat.
Let me just put it on the chat. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, Prithvi, you can take over. If there are no questions, we can close. I'll drop in my email and phone number.
Super, thank you. I think Shivali, Terence, Saurabh, we can drop off then. I don't think any more questions.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you.
Shivali,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Shivali,
all.
just when,
Thank you so much, everyone.
Sorry, one
Sorry,
second.
Vinay has a.
yeah, so
Please
I
go
was
ahead.
saying, so is it possible to maybe stick with the key stakeholders for maybe 2 minutes? I wanted to give some update, but that is not something which can be publicly discussed.
I think you should need to speak to Nachappa or
Yeah,
anybody who's key stakeholder, maybe 2 minutes.
That's up to them if they're available. But ideally, this forum is for you to get a clear understanding on the use case and how you need to propose a solution. Anything related to the costing or your exact solution or anything that is privileged information, I would sort of advise you not to divulge in it here.
Okay, no problem. Maybe I can share it over the email. That's
you can reach out to me, and if the times match, we can always set up a discussion.
Sure.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay,
thank
you.
Thank you all. Appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Thanks to all of you. Bye-bye.